Okay, so hello everyone. I'm going to have quite a few people that watch this after the live recording. And my name is Rebecca Taylor Shaw. I'm a mindset coach, clinical hypnotherapist, and I teach hypnosis and coaching. And tonight I wanted to do a really cool experience for you that I think helps when you're in the mode of goal setting. So it's interesting because I never really planned it to be this way. It wasn't intentional. But at the end of every year, between October and November, and then I get busy with the holidays in December, my mind is always looking to see, explore what I want to let go of in this current year to go into next year in the highest and best way. And so when I really sat down to look at my process and what I do, I put it into this video tonight. And I'm going to use a presentation, a slide presentation to take you through it. And since most of you will be watching this after the fact, if you want to just pause this recording right now and grab a journal or some paper, I'm a big believer in creating recordings where I actually take you through in real time the exercises because I know for myself, if someone just tells me the exercises and I'm watching the video, if I don't get the paper out right then and there, oftentimes I'll have the ideas of what that person's prompting me to do or see or visualize, but then it's come and gone when I'm on to the next video or the next activity. So I really encourage you before I start this process tonight to grab some paper, a pen, or if you have journals, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So let me do the screen share. Because oftentimes, the reason you're not achieving your goals is because there's something happening at the subconscious level that's blocking you from that. We won't go too much into that tonight, but that's my overall approach, and it works. Okay. So the path to success in 2025, or most people know that when you have a clear goal and you have focus, you can achieve that goal. And then if you add creativity, which is the activity, what this activity is based on tonight, I think you can unlock your full potential and achieve your results faster. And for a lot of people, achieve results that they haven't been able to achieve before because in many cases, just making your SMART goals, that acronym isn't enough for people. And so this is really an added way to bring in your right brain, your creativity to get to that goal faster or even to achieve it at all. And so one of the things I want to encourage you to do, and this is a huge one for me, it's been for years. So I'm a big advocate for having separate journals for all your categories. And so, for example, if you have health goals, that's one journal. If you have wealth, money goals, that's in a separate journal. Relationships go in their own journal for sure. And then potentially career, that could be there, or it could be combined with your wealth and your money goals. But the great thing about this is it keeps you focused on that goal when you come back to the journal. If you have one journal for health, wealth, and relationships and careers, then you're flipping back through your pages trying to get to your last entry on relationships or your last entry for your career goals. And it's just so much more muddied in your mind. So go out today, tomorrow, before the beginning of next year and, buy something that has a nice cover and, label them one for each of the areas. You may just want to focus on one area this year, and that is absolutely fine too. I mean, to be dialed in to one particular area is fabulous. But if you have a few different areas, I honestly think no more than three, but keep them each in separate journals, and you're going to be able to track your goals your insights, your, mindset upgrades and all that so much easier. Okay, so for tonight, for this exercise, and you can go back and watch this video more than once, but I want you to pick one single specific goal that you want to achieve in 2025 by the end of 1 year from now. So, for example, tonight, you're watching this month, it's November. And so you're going to pick a goal that you would like to have achieved, done, that you've succeeded in 1 year from now. So that would be November of 2025. And you want to make it very clear, measurable goal. I'm not going to go over the SMART acronym idea tonight because you can Google that in a hot minute and find it for yourself. And I think, it's measurable, achievable, etc. If you Google SMART goals, and it's the acronym SMART, and decide what your goal is going to be. So, for example, it could be increasing your income by 25%. Improving your fitness level would be too vague, but maybe it's to get down to a certain body percentage in 1 year. Now, of course, you don't have to choose 1 year. You could make this goal something that is reasonable and achievable in 3 months or 6 months. But just for me, when I do this, okay, I might have achieved something in the spring of 2025, but what I like to do is look back from a year from now and from that vantage point be remembering myself having been successful at something back in May or back in April or back in September. And it's a really, really cool way to work with your subconscious mind to imprint success, is to remember your success as if it's already in the past. Super, super powerful. So again, your goal can be achieved sooner than a year from now, but we're going to work from it as if it is a year from now and you're remembering it in your past. Okay. So again, pick one goal at a time, even if you're, just going for maybe some different aspects of fitness. Those could all be bundled in if you want to say, I'm going to get down to, 10% body fat, and I'm also going to, get to a certain weight, or I want to compete in my first, fitness competition or something like that. Those all kind of go under the same umbrella, and body fat, weight and body percentage would be something that would be probably a part of a goal if you were going to do competitive bodybuilding or fitness or something like that. But don't get overwhelmed by picking too many things. Try to just make it very clear. And okay, so an example, I improved my cardiovascular fitness, and by a year from now, I'm running a 5K in under 30 minutes or 25 minutes or, whatever. That would be an example. Okay. So now I want you to, if you're following along with this, um, I'm going to give you a minute actually before we do this to think of your goal. And again, you can go back and do this more than once, but pick something that you really like. If a year from now, if you could imagine this thing happening for you, you would just be so excited. You would be extremely happy, relieved, pleased. You would look back and think, wow, 2025 was a really good year. That's the kind of thing you're going for here. Okay. And then once you've got that goal and you know what you want, you would write that in your journal, what that goal is. And then you would go through this exercise and you'll journal about it. So if you're with me now, I invite you to go ahead and close your eyes. Take a few easy, comfortable breaths and just let out the busyness of the day, release from your mind and body with the out breath. So a really quick way to just let go is to imagine that you're just exhaling out, breathing out the day, letting that go. And as you inhale, imagine just breathing in peace and calm, and you're just getting very centered. And wouldn't it be fun for you to just imagine for a few moments that you could just rise above your body, float above your body, and you float out over the place that you're in. If you're in a building, you're going to float up over the rooftop. You're going to float up over the landscape, so trees or rocks or, whatever you would see on the outside of the building that you're in. And then imagine that you could float up into beautiful blue sky, just brilliant, deep blue sky. And as you do that, imagine that you could just rise above worries, the day-to-day stresses. You're just shrugging all of that off. On some level, we know that those things are an illusion. So just let them go. And imagine that you're just going to rise above that and you're going to float intuitively as if you could float out over the timeline of your life. And you're floating up into the sky and you see this timeline down below you. And the timeline goes to your past events. And the further down you see that past of the timeline is back weeks, months, years in the past. And then out in front of you is your timeline out into the future. And some people see it like an arrow. Some people see it like a railroad track, a road. Whatever your creative mind comes up with, go with it. And if you don't see anything right now, that's okay. Sometimes for some people, when you start doing this type of right brain problem solving and right brain success acceleration, you have to step into using that right brain. And if you haven't been using it, it will come to you. Believe me, I used to do engineering work and it took a little bit for me to get into it, but you'll get into it and you can go back and listen to this recording, as I said, as many times as you want to. But for right now, just imagine that you can see a timeline, even if you can't see one. You might be more of a feeling person or an auditory person. So just imagine what it would be like to be floating along a timeline out into the future. And then you're going to drop down off that timeline or into that timeline, I should say, into 1 year from now. So same time of year. Maybe you're living in the same place. Maybe you're living somewhere different. That's okay. But wherever you are, let that be okay. That's your intuition. That's your creative mind. You may see where you are and not be surprised. You may see where you are and be surprised. That's okay too. But 1 year from now, you're out in the future and you have succeeded in achieving the goal that you wrote down in your journal earlier. I'm going to give you a moment to pause and imagine that. Imagine that you have already achieved that goal that you wrote down that would make 2025 spectacular. Just so happy that you achieved that goal. So drop into that for a moment and imagine you already have that, you've already achieved that, and it feels so good. And feel the feelings that you would have having achieved that goal, the emotions. Those are important. Notice how your body responds when you imagine it. You may feel your body just give this big sigh. You may feel excited. You might have goosebumps. And I want to say that each of you listening to this, whatever it is you're imagining, that is that big dream or that hope that's in your mind and your heart. You don't have to earn your right to have it. The universe doesn't work like that. Your subconscious mind doesn't work like that. You do not have to be worthy in the sense of your essence, your being, to have that goal. You just got to hold it in your heart, take the action steps, but know if some part of you, for some of you listening to this, you'd be like, gosh, that seemed too good to be true. Put that aside. Could I have that much joy or abundance in my life? Put that aside and just go into it. Imagine it as fully and completely as you can. And then with that, I don't know what scene you will see or sense for yourself where you are when you have this moment of realization where you're thinking about, reflecting about achieving your goal. It could be stepping onto a scale, it could be opening up your bank account statement. I don't know where you'll be or what will be happening. It could be changing your status on Facebook. I don't know. It's whatever comes to mind for you. And sometimes what comes to mind will surprise you. And that's where it gets really fun. But I want you to just sense, what do you see around you? Is there anything that's changed in your environment or the people you're with? Are you running your day differently? Meaning, do you have a different schedule in your day with having achieved this goal that you've wanted? And if there's any sounds you hear, any voices, then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And then again, take some time now. Open up your journal or get your piece of paper. And I invite you to journal for just about 1 minute. You can come back to it and do more. But sometimes what's amazing about these visioning sessions is that what you see and what comes to mind there'll be an element of it that's surprising to you. Now, maybe not, and maybe you struggled with it a little bit. That's okay, because if you continue to do this, which I would encourage you to do, and we'll talk about that at the end, more and more of the pieces of the puzzle will start to come in, but you have to start somewhere with this. And so just take one moment and journal about this. And that means just journaling about what you saw, what you heard, what you felt, what emotions you felt, where you were, the setting. And again, if you're listening to this afterwards, you can pause it while you continue to journal, and you will come back to this journal entry. So I really encourage you to write down whatever you saw, even if you saw something or sensed something that felt confusing to you or out of the ordinary or unexpected, definitely write those things down because the subconscious mind speaks to you in symbols and imagery. And so I've had people who wrote down something. In fact, I had a client, we did a visioning session like this for her, and she kept seeing the symbol of a duck. And she's like, I don't know what that means. But I do these sessions live and interactive with clients. But she kept seeing the symbol of the duck. And then a year later, she moved to Austin and she was trying to find her apartment where she wanted to live. And she was walking along this path in the back side of one apartment complex, and there was this pond with ducks. And as soon as she saw that, she was like, ah, and she really felt like this was the place where she should live. And she moved in and she loved it. And it was really interesting because at the time when she did the visioning session with me, she had no clue what that meant. But I do believe that we are connected to universal knowledge, universal consciousness. So if you're having any random sights, symbols, feelings that come in, make sure you write down those as well. Do not dismiss them. They can be very powerful. And for her, it was just like a little sign of guidance that she was on the right path. Literally, she was standing on a path when she saw these ducks, and she felt that it hit her like a huge, what I call like a zing, when she saw those ducks. And so now you're going to, in step 5, I want you to go back to your journal. And this time you're going to write out the wish fulfilled scene as if you're telling it to someone. So again, if you had trouble with the visualization, you can do it this way as well. And how you do an auditory story of your success, you're going to write out an imagined conversation as if you're calling a friend, calling a family member, or sitting at a, dinner with a friend. It's a year from now, and they say, how's life been going? What's new? And you say, da 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 da, and you share the good news essentially. So take a moment now. Um, and I'm actually going to stop the screen share for a moment. And I want you guys to just um, write out, it would be you and a conversation between you and someone else, basically telling that person, um, hey, I just want to, they ask you, for example, I'll riff on this. They say, how's your year been going? What have you been up to? I haven't seen you in a while. Tell me what's going on. And you say, oh my gosh, I have had the best year. I have really hit my fitness goals, and I'm down to X body weight, and I'm down to um, X size, and I feel better than ever. And so go ahead and do that now. So it's like you're going to have two voices. You're going to have your voice talking, you're going to have the other person's voice talking. And basically, it's as if someone could overhear the two of you talking, and you're telling that person about your success at this goal, whatever goal it is you chose for yourself. So go ahead and take some time and do that now. Okay. All right. So now we'll go back to the slides. Okay. So again, when you do this on your own, or if you're doing this on your own, it's as if someone's listening in and they can hear you having a conversation, telling someone about your success. And then, it's like you're telling the story in a book, and that you have excitement in your voice, you're happy, and then imagine feeling as well, feeling the feelings. So dropping into first person, which is feeling how you would feel if you're telling this person about that success. Okay. So next step in this, oops, I gotta go back. Let me see. Go back up. I think I have to drop back in. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Okay. So the next step, step 6, you're going to do this in your journal. Guys, I know this is a lot, but let me tell you, when you do it on your own, this really could take like 10 minutes to do, and it is well worth it. And here's the cool thing. Okay, so I don't see anybody else really doing this when we're talking about goal setting. And it's super important because, again, if everybody was just going to achieve their goals, we wouldn't have hundreds of books out there and programs on helping people to achieve their goals, right? So, but what you want to do here in step 6 is you're going to make a list of what you want to let go of or know you need to let go of in 2024, this year, in order to achieve that goal. And so we're going to break this down into 3 parts. And the first part in step 6, part A, is you're going to make a list of the things that you stopped doing to align with your goal. So, for example, if it's fitness, it might be I stopped eating sugar. Um, if it's let's say if it's about money, it could be I stopped going to Starbucks and spending 15 bucks a day, or um, so you'll know. I think it's really interesting because sometimes people don't know the things they should be doing, but most of us know the things we should stop doing that are not in alignment with our goals. Doom scrolling on the internet or social media might be one thing that is such a time suck. My gosh, if you're going to do it, then schedule it into your day and make it a certain amount of time, because one of the biggest problems I see as a business coach who works with transformation entrepreneurs, so coaches, hypnotherapists, holistic healers, is that people are trying to get their side hustle off the ground to be their full-time job. And the complaint is, I don't have time. And so in order to do that, you have to look at what time sucks do I have in my life that I could let go of and then purposefully and intentionally use that time differently to move me closer to my goals. So I'll stop talking for a minute and let you write down, just riffing on it right now. Other ideas may come to you later. That's why it's great to have the dedicated journal for this, one thing, whatever it is you're working on. But make a list right now, just right off the top of your head, of things that you stopped doing. Imagine you're out in 2025, a year from now, you stopped doing some things so that you achieved your goal and aligned with it. What are those things that come to mind right now? Okay. So then make a list of thoughts that you need to release to align with your goal. And what I mean by that are thoughts and beliefs. So it could be, you know, one thought could be, will I ever achieve this? Or, you know, um, a lot of people who want to be successful, they're also hesitant to have it because there's this idea that um, I won't make enough money, or um, let's say it's relationships, and you hear yourself saying, or other people around you, and you agree with it, there's no good people out there for my age group. Those are thoughts that are counterproductive to your goal. So if you catch yourself in self-talk with thoughts and beliefs that are not supportive of or in alignment with this goal, whatever you've picked for this exercise today, I'm going to pause again now, and I'm going to be quiet now, and I want you to write those out. Okay, so now let's do emotions. What emotions did you release to align with your goal? So that could be fear. That would be a big one. A lot of people let their fears get in the way of them going after their dreams. I know that's cliche, but that one's true. Um, Fears, frustrations, overwhelm, um, procrastination would probably go over in the behaviors that you need to let go of. But I don't know what emotions will come up for you depending on what your goal is, but write those down. And again, it's intuitive. You might just have one thing today for each of these things. That's fine. You don't have to have a lot. Okay. 7. This is a really important step too. Close your eyes again. Now, if you go out into the future, you imagine you've achieved your goal. That's a year from now. You are a different version of yourself. And that different version of you has let go of some behaviors, let go of some limiting beliefs, or negative beliefs, and you've let go of some emotions that might be holding you back. You're stepping into this version of you who has what you want. Imagine that you're stepping into your future self who has what you want. And you might notice that this person stands differently, carries themselves differently, physically looks different if you're working on a health goal, maybe dressed differently if you're in a different type of profession. Feel how this person feels emotionally, mentally, maybe calmer, maybe more feeling more confident. Having thoughts, self-talk is a huge one. I don't know how many people I work with on self-talk, athletes who want to take their sport to the next level. Self-talk is huge. That next level up version of you, I guarantee you, if it's related to sports, likely has a more positive self-talk than the one you have now. And that could be doubtful or it could be self-critical, but and that version of you may, if this has to do with health or money, could be more disciplined. Certainly, I would suspect if this is a goal for you and it's head and heart aligned, you're happier. This is you embodying this happier version of you who's more successful or has achieved this success. And this version of you is consistently, daily, weekly making decisions and made those decisions to get you to that place. So we're going to pat that version of you on the back because that version does already exist within you. And you could do this visualization alone, guys, and keep yourself moving forward. Maybe you won't see it outwardly at first, but if all you did was embody the version of you living your success daily for 5 minutes, and you do that every day for a month, I guarantee you that's the power of the subconscious mind. You will start to see things shift automatically, precognitively, organically, subtly, perhaps, or maybe not so subtly. Okay, step 8, feeling the feelings of success. So that's going back into that wish fulfilled, feeling happy, feeling joyful. The feeling is the secret. You enter the state of being, of having already achieved that goal. Feeling elated, feeling happy, feeling proud of yourself, feeling blessed, whatever it is, but give yourself permission. So many people say, oh, I'll let myself feel the emotions once it happens. I'll feel happy. I'll pat myself on the back. I'll feel good. I'll feel relieved when I see it. But that's not how manifestation works. That's not how you accelerate yourself to your goal. You get into the state of being, give yourself permission to imagine it as if it's already happened, and do a dance in the middle of the kitchen or sing in your shower or your car. Do whatever. You have to be able to connect with your emotions it's not that you can't do it without the emotions, but you're going to get there so much faster if you can connect with your emotions. And if that's a difficulty for you, then, definitely it could be something, I work one-on-one with you on, or you've got to work on that. You've got to access your emotions because that's your broadcast into your field of consciousness. That's the momentum that carries you forward in times of setbacks or seeming failures. So you definitely want to be able to connect with your emotions and let them power up your vision. Okay. So make an action plan for the things you need to eliminate. So back when I asked you to write down what I needed to let go of, or what I did let go of when I was in that visioning part of the session, make an action plan. So don't just write down the behaviors, the mindset, and the emotions you need to let go of. Make an action plan to one by one. Either you work on it or you get help with it. I believe that any coach these days needs to have hypnotherapy, hypnosis in their toolbox if you're working with people at all at the level of mindset and clearing subconscious blocks, self-sabotage, etc. So if you have limiting beliefs, try hypnotherapy. Doubts, fears, negative self-talk, self-sabotage, old habits, like anything from procrastination to um, food addiction to eating unhealthy foods, all or nothing exercising. I don't know what it is, but if you have a habit and you need help with it, hands down, it's an automatic behavior for most people. Hypnotherapy is great for that. Maybe a support group. If you're struggling with alcohol, highly recommend some type of support group. Um, some for cigarettes, but I've not seen that necessary if you use hypnosis. Toxic relationships, guys, these will suck the life out of you. And if you have a dream that's related to your career, um, even wealth or money, and you've got a toxic relationship on the side, and it's just daily sucking the life out of you emotionally, destabilizing you, causing you PTSD, walking on eggshells, etc. You absolutely want to get help with that. Traditional therapy, counseling, psychotherapy, coaching, a relationship coach, or somebody who potentially specializes in narcissistic abuse. I don't know. Hypnosis, hypnotherapy, coaches who use it are going to, in my perspective, going to get you there so much faster. But definitely, or just cut people out of your life if you can do it and you have the ability to do it. Some people, we don't have that freedom if it's an ex and we co-parent kids, etc. A parent that you live with or have to take care of, a boss you have to work with. But definitely you will harvest and reclaim so much energy. And then when you have that energy from toxic relationships, they could even be toxic relationships from the past that are still influencing you. When you heal that, heal yourself from those relationships in whatever way you choose to do that, you harvest so much emotional energy to now put into whatever your goal is. It'll blow you away. I have repeatedly seen in my office people birth their true purpose when they healed the toxic relationship and when they healed old self-limiting beliefs. It's amazing. And they don't even have to really think about what it is or figure out their purpose. It just pop. I call it, you just pop. And that would be too with negative emotions. If you're living with chronic anxiety, that's a time suck internally, mentally. A lot of people, I ask them, how many hours a day out of your waking hours do you struggle with anxiety, worry, rumination, fretting, all that? And people will say, if you're above 50% and you resolve that problem of anxiety or resentment too, could do that, your personal power restoration and energy reclamation will blow you away. And again, you'll have all that energy to put into what you want to do with your life and how you want to live your life and how you want to craft by design your future. It's amazing. Okay, so there's the door. I want you to imagine, closing your eyes one more time, that you're going to walk through the door into 2025 and you're leaving behind whatever you need to leave behind in 2024. Good riddance. You're letting go of whatever you need to let go of. You're stepping into 2025 and it is your year. It is your year. And you're really going to make something happen for yourself that you want. And I want you to imagine that your success is inevitable. Inevitable. And that means it's like when you go to shop at the grocery store, you're going to get your eggs and whatever else you get. It's inevitable. You don't have to fret about it. You don't wonder about it. You don't have to know exactly how you're going to get there right now with this exercise. Whole point is to drop down into the feeling of the wish fulfilled, that you have it, and that it is inevitable, that your success is inevitable. It's that certainty. I don't know how I'm going to achieve this. You might know some of the steps, but don't necessarily know all the steps right now. You don't need to know it all right now, but just have the key for this exercise is just having the feeling of certainty that it's happening. It's happening. And then when you open your eyes now, you can write in your journal anything that came to you with that. And you can pause on this and take a little bit longer to do it. And if you struggle with that, doubting that, if you can't step into that feeling of certainty, it's like if you're going to take a road trip from East Coast to West Coast, let's say you're going to go out and hit, wine country and Paso Robles, and you're going to drive and you don't know exactly how you're going to get there. The GPS is going to help you, or you'll at some point in the future lay out the map. But right now, you don't know exactly how you're going to get there, but you're going. You're going to get there. You're going to get to the wine country. You're going to have that wonderful traipsing around in the hills and the golden hills of California with the grapes and the beautiful sunsets on the West Coast. That's the point of this, is giving yourself permission to know it's going to happen. Okay, so you can do this for any goal. You would want to come back to it. You could do something in regards to this every day and just a 5-minute visualization. You could go back and work on one of these steps every day, which would literally take you 2 to 5 minutes, maybe less. But the consistency is what's key. Consistency. It doesn't take but 5 minutes a day to prime your subconscious mind to know what you want. It uses that visualization like a blueprint. And in a very manual way, what we did today was allow you to start reverse engineering the way to get there and set a monthly review. Do this full thing once a month, which again may take you 15 minutes on your own, especially once you've really gotten into the visualization. When you go back and revisit it, it will come faster. It will come in more clearly. It will come in with more detail. Okay. So if you struggled with it today and my timing was off for you, that's okay. This is a video and not a one-to-one session. If you came to my office or we did a virtual and we did a one-to-one, I can time it and pace it with allowing you to get the information. But I promise you, if you do this, it will help you to accelerate towards your goals. It can help you identify what may be blocking you towards your goals as you go. So the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. And I believe in the beauty of each one of you listening to this, watching this today. You deserve to have a dream, and you deserve to have that dream fulfilled for yourself. So if you have any questions about this video, if you would like to do something like this in a one-on-one with me, I do offer one-off sessions. I also have a 3-month package, coaching package, where I literally guide you through doing this in a live experiential, where I can guide you, prompt you with questions, because it's just one-on-one and it's interactive. Then we have some follow-up coaching for accountability. And if you're interested in that at all, just email me at RebeccaShawCCH@gmail.com and ask about working with me to do the success visioning or working on your goals for next year. And I'd be happy to talk with you about what we might be able to achieve in a one-on-one. And I hope this was helpful. And this is here to each of you watching, my eternal love and encouragement to each of you. Have a great night and have a great week. Bye.